I had my first stint in rehab when I was 30 years old. I snorted an 8-ball of cocaine on the way there and drank a half case of Michelob Light. I'll never forget it.
On the way to rehab.
On the way to rehab. I have people in rehab that I still know to this day, and they still talk about they've never seen anybody like what I was when I walked into rehab. Because I was, I think I was really trying to kill myself on the way there, to be honest with you.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Cigar Preacher. I'm a pastor in Arizona, and for years, I've enjoyed great conversations over cigars. Today, my guest is Mark Gill. Mark owns Gill's Auto Service, and Mark has helped hundreds of people break free from the chains of addiction. And Mark himself has a story that you literally have to hear to believe. Join Mark and I today as we talk about cigars, life, and what matters most. I'm Chad Moore, and I'm the Cigar Preacher. All right, let's pick you something out. What do you normally smoke?
Well, backwoods.
Backwoods.
Oh, sorry. I'm not this.
Here's what we're going to do. This is a Drew Estates Leather Rose. I think you're going to like it. So it's a little bit of flavor. It tastes good.
Okay, cool.
You'll like it. You might not ever smoke a backwoods cigar again.
I'm hoping I don't.
Do you want a little lesson on this?
Yes, I do.
All right. So obviously you got to take it out of the package, take that ribbon off the end. And I'll tell you, cigar etiquette is you take the label off too, like if you're like really a cigar person.
Yeah.
But some guys like to keep it on there, especially this one because it looks cool.
Yeah, because it does look cool.
But what I do, I'll take the label off, but then I keep it for a bookmark later.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go home in my books, I got all these super cool bookmarks. Okay, so we're gonna cut it.
We gotta cut it?
I have cigar scissors. A company called Cigar makes these. When you clip your cigar, you don't want to clip it too high. You can actually see, I'm gonna take my glasses off so I can see. See where the color changes?
Yep, right there.
So you don't want to clip it past that color change.
Okay.
So you want to do it at the end, and I typically do mine at a little bit of an angle. And some guys have called a punch cutter, and they'll punch a little hole in it, but I use the scissors. So I'm going to clip yours.
Okay.
And I'm just going to do the end, and you're not going to. If you clip it past there, it changes the taste of the cigar, and it's actually you're going to be puffing a little too much into your mouth. When you light it, you're going to roll it.
Okay.
So you're going to roll and puff, roll and puff. So there. And you know this. It's not a cigarette. So you're just going to take it in your mouth and blow it back out. Beautiful. Yeah, just roll it all the way around. Expert. Yeah, perfect. So you're smoking a leather rose.
Oh, my.
It's a little better than that Swisher Sweets and Backwoods you normally smoke.
Oh, yeah, the berry backwoods. Those are amazing. Gotta have the berry ones.
Do you have like a best cigar memory, even though it's backwoods cigars? Do you have an experience where you were smoking a cigar and you're like, that was amazing?
Back in about 1996, 97, one of my buddies, he's a cigar guy. He literally took $600 worth of cigars with us to Rocky Point.
All right.
And I got to tell you, I was in heaven the whole 4 days I was there because I couldn't believe how amazing it was.
That's because you've been smoking turds your whole life.
I know. I was like,
a real
this
cigar
is crazy. And when he was telling me what they cost, I was like, oh, there's no way. You know, got to remember, I'm alcoholic. So
at this time in your life.
In my life, yeah. So that money could go towards alcohol.
Yeah.
So that was my thinking.
So you were like, we're wasting this on cigars.
Oh, wasted. Yeah, it was a waste, yeah. But when they were his, it was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of my best cigar memories is we were in Southern California. And my oldest son like 15 at the time. Mm-hmm. We're on vacation. And about 13, he started kind of drifting from us. Like he didn't want to hang out with mom and dad anymore. He wants to hang out with friends. You know how that works.
Oh, yeah, I do.
But we went on this vacation, and he's 15. It's about 9:30 at night. And in Southern California, where we go, you can't smoke on the beach, but you can on just across from the beach in this little park.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I'm going to go down and have a cigar. Do you want to go with me? And he says, yes. Right? So I'm like, okay. And we go down and, can I have a cigar? I said, no. But we're sitting by the beach and listening to the waves. And we talked for like 2.5 hours. And I just nursed that cigar as long as I could, because that's why we were out there, right? But really good memory for me as a dad.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
I stopped by to visit Mark at his auto shop, Gill's Auto Service. What's up, man?
Not much. How you doing, brother?
See ya.
Oh, nice to see you, too.
How long have you been here? How long have you had the shop?
It's been about 6 years now at this location.
So how long have you been working on cars? Like, how old were you when you got started? Because it's been part of your life for a long, long time.
Yeah. Officially, starting to work on cars is probably about 14 years old. But the truth is if my mom and dad were standing here, they would say, Mark's been working on things since I've been like 5 years old. I knew did you know when I was in high school, I said to my mom, it's like, I don't need to go to school because I'm going to be a mechanic. So I'm just going to go to mechanic classes and all that stuff in high school, right? Which is what I did. That's why I didn't graduate high school. I was short 3 credits or something, so I ended up having to go back and get it. But I knew I was going to be a mechanic. There was no gray area about that.
So,
Yeah.
you brought it up. You were an alcoholic in the 90s?
Oh, gosh. I was a raging alcoholic. I've basically been a raging alcoholic since I've been about 14 years old.
Well, let's clear this up real quick because we
Yeah.
both have drinks in front of us.
Yeah.
So that's not alcohol.
No, it's not.
What is that?
What? It's a kombucha? Is that what you said?
Kombucha?
So it does look like a cocktail there, but it's not.
So club soda with lime.
Gotcha.
That's what
Gotcha.
I always do,
got
club
you.
soda with lime. So at 14, you were an alcoholic?
14 years old, it was the first time I got drunk. A friend of mine down the street said, hey, man, we got to have this little party. And it was the first time I actually smoked as well, cannabis. But they were making these drinks called Boilermakers.
So you went all in at 14, first time smoking weed.
Yes, first time smoking weed, first time drinking, getting drunk. And what I remember about the whole night, and I still remember this, I remember laying in the street on a backside street, me and my friends laughing, and then I blacked out, and then I got sick. And the next day when I woke up, the first thought I thought about was I can't wait to do it again, except for this time, I'm just not going to do, the whiskey in there. I'm just going to drink beer.
Okay.
So right out of the gate, first day, I'm already thinking about controlling my alcohol. Now then, I spent from 14 years old up until 45 years old trying to control my alcohol. Now, I think normal people probably don't go through that,
Well, what is normal anyway?
I don't even know what normal is, right?
Yeah.
But I do know that at 17, 18 years old, when we would go out drinking, everybody would always look at me and say, man, I think you're an alcoholic. And then we'd laugh it off.
Okay,
And
rewind just a second. So even as a teenager, your buddies told you, I think you're an alcoholic?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm the guy that takes the party to the next level. And if you're there, or somebody's a normal drinker there, and they even leave part of their glass of alcohol, oh, I'm the guy that chugs that before we leave the table, at a restaurant. I never understood that, right?
Yeah.
I was like, you're not going to drink the rest of that? We can't leave that. Chug it and walk out. Oh, there's another one. Chug that too. That's just how I was.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, where did that take you? I mean, you're a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
Do you drink now?
Oh, no.
How long have you been sober?
16 years.
16 years sober. Good for you,
16
bro.
years, yeah. That's including weekends, NASCAR races, football games, straight through.
Teetotaler for 16 years.
Yes.
How does somebody know if they're an alcoholic? Like if somebody's sitting right now and they're like, I wonder if I'm an alcoholic, how would you answer that question?
That's a good question. Alcoholism is one of the diseases that you can have that actually tells you you don't have it. Like for me, I'm always telling myself, no, I'm good. I'm good. Throughout all of this hard times, people would be telling me how messed up I am. And I'm like, they don't know anything.
So the first thing, am I an alcoholic? The question you would ask yourself, has somebody told you you might be an alcoholic?
Absolutely, yeah. Has anybody else mentioned it to you?
Yeah,
right?
has anybody telling you this is a problem?
What kind of consequences have you had, right? That kind of thing, right?
So has anybody told you, and consequences?
Absolutely, yeah.
And for you?
I have both. I had people telling me, I had consequences. I can't go into a bar and just have one drink. I find myself where I have to have that next drink.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon it's 3 a.m, you know, and I'm a mess.
Yeah.
And I've lied to everybody about being home on time. I'm spending money, rent money, bill money, and then I'm lying about it.
Yeah.
All of it. It's just this big cycle of misery. Do you know when I was getting sober, when I tried to get sober on my own, I started drinking these O'Douls. Okay.
Non-alcoholic beer.
Non-alcoholic beer. So it's got a little bit of alcohol in it. It's like 1% or something. But here's what my alcoholic brain did. I went and did this O'Douls thing for like 2 or 3 nights. And I was like, nope, this ain't working. So I went and bought a 6-pack of Bud Lights, a 6-pack of O'Douls, dumped the O'Douls out, opened the Bud Lights, poured them in the O'Douls things, put the lids back on, took the O'Douls home, put them in the refrigerator. And now no one's going to know.
Yeah. I have found, and I have different problems.
Yeah.
But I have found anything that I have to hide is not a good thing.
Bad.
Yeah. If you're hiding it, it is not good.
Yeah.
Was there like a straw that broke the camel's back? What happened?
God. You know, a lot of people would have said that I might have should have hit rock bottom at 24 years old when me and another guy were in an accident and my sister died, drunk. We were the reason she died. That was like the real beginning, all right? I told you I started drinking.
The beginning of change or the beginning of being more of an
The beginning of
alcoholic?
how I drank differently. From 14 to 24, I'm just this guy that's, everybody wants to hang out because we're drinking and working on hot rods and everything's fine.
You're fun, Mark.
I'm fun, Mark.
Yeah.
After May 17th, 1984, I was not fun, Mark.
So tell me a little bit, what are some of your best memories about your sister?
Oh, she's kind of a wild child, kind of a hippie. She reminds me of Janis Joplin. She's that, run around free spirit. She was just always amazing. And we were just like best friends. I found a letter from her when she moved to California here not long ago when my mom passed away. I found a letter my mom had saved. And in reading that letter, it reminded me how close of friends we were. Even the night she passed away, one of my memories is her and I playing pool. And listening to Billy Idol. I always remember a Billy Idol song, and her and I were singing and playing pool, and I still have that vivid memory of us having this moment. Yeah.
So because of alcohol, it's an accident, your sister dies.
Yep. So we were out shooting pool, closing down the bar. And by the way, this is something we did often. So this is stuff that's normal. So we're shutting the bar down and driving on the way home. And I got my wife in the car with me, and my sister and my best friend are in their car. It was a 68 Camaro. And he decided to pass us. And I'm thinking, no way, he can't pass me because I built that motor and I built this motor, and there's no way that's going to happen, right? I remember looking over at the car, and I remember seeing my sister, and she literally looked over at me and my wife at the time and waved. And it's almost as if she was waving goodbye. And that's exactly what my ex-wife would say to you today. I looked ahead and I seen a light, and it was a bumpy road. And looked back at the car, and by the time all this was going on, I was like, I didn't know whether to just let off and brake. I thought he maybe had seen the car. It didn't matter. It was over like that. All of a sudden there was no noise. Everything was gone. It was quiet. And I realized in that moment that something happened.
Yeah.
And just didn't know what, and it was like a plane wrecked. It was like debris everywhere.
It's a head-on collision.
Head-on collision at about 130 miles an hour.
Wow.
That was the moment though that changed everything for me. It was like literally the first moment in my life where I felt guilt, shame, and remorse. I felt that. I'd never felt that before. And I would take that feeling of guilt, shame, and remorse from that moment on all the way until November 22nd, 2005. That's just my life. Guilt, shame, and remorse. I woke up every day with it.
And the drinking got worse?
Way worse. Yeah, I took on a new drug too. It was cocaine. And I loved that because that was a good painkiller, like alcohol. So in doing that, cocaine's really expensive. So I became a cocaine dealer. Yeah, it was just a crazy roller coaster life. It was amazingly terrible. But my wife, she didn't put up with me for long. We were divorced 3 years later. And that's when I started dysfunctional relationships. I had my first stint in rehab when I was 30 years old. I snorted an 8-ball of cocaine on the way there and drank a half case of Michelob Light. I'll never forget it.
On the way to rehab?
On the way to rehab. I have people in rehab that I still know to this day, and they still talk about they've never seen anybody like what I was when I walked into rehab. Because I was, I think I was really trying to kill myself on the way there, to be honest with you.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
You're 30?
I was 30.
Okay, so rehab, because you didn't get sober till you're 45.
Yeah.
So rehab was not effective?
No, it was really good for the 30 days I was in there. And I got out of there. I drove home with my girlfriend. She drove me home. A couple days later, I actually found out that she was actually cheating on me. I was like, F this. I started drinking immediately. So like 3-4 days later, I was already drinking. And I thought to myself, I'm going to control it. Matter of fact, I'm not going to let anybody know that I'm drinking. What a joke. I'm telling you, you talk about insanity. Try alcoholism. It is an insane thing to be in.
What happened at 45? Was there something that happened right before then? Was there?
Oh man, yeah. I had, you talk about the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this moment, this run where I just lost my job. My girlfriend, she just left me. My mom, my stepdad, everybody around my life actually didn't even want me calling them anymore because I'd gotten so bad with my drinking. All right. And it got to the point where I wanted to die. Like I was like, I really feel like dying. Like I don't want to live anymore. I would have told everybody that I didn't believe in God, right? I was praying to him that he would, there was a windstorm and I was praying one of the trees, the big pine trees would fall on the house. I heard about that happening, up there.
So you're saying, kill me, make a tree fall on me.
God, make one of these trees fall on this trailer and kill me, please.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So I'm coming to an end and I'm wondering, what am I going to do? And so I drank my last alcohol. I took a half a bottle of these PM Tylenols or whatever, chugged this alcohol, and I was like, I know I'm not waking up from this. I woke up like 2 hours later. Now I'm like, I'm done. And I had made the decision, or thought I'd made the decision many times to shoot myself. All right, I have a gun, and in this moment I thought, all right, I have the courage now to use that gun. And I'd put that gun in my head many times and just didn't have the courage to pull the trigger. But in this moment, I knew I did. So before I did that, I went in the kitchen and I grabbed the picture of my sister, Tammy, the one that died in the accident, off the wall, and I'm looking at her, I'm talking to her like as if I'm coming to see her, in heaven, where God is, which I don't believe in. But I'm talking about all that. And I turn around, and I'm not kidding, it was the craziest thing. I turn around, and I'm already kind of bawling. And all of a sudden, I just lose it. And I'm like, I look up at a God I don't believe in. And I'm like, God, if you're effing there, I need your effing help. I need a right effing now or I'm going to effing die. And I didn't say effing. And it was loud. I was bawling. I walk into my room. I sit on the edge of my bed. I'm talking to my sister, grab that gun, put it to my head and pull the trigger. And about a half an hour of time went by. And I come to because someone's beating on my double wide mobile home. All right. I come to and I hear this pounding on the side of my house. And I'm literally wondering if I'm dead. Like, am I having an out-of-body experience? I didn't know. But the whole time I'm thinking, what's going on here? Someone's beating on the side of my house. And I look down and I see the gun and the hammer's down on the gun. And then I'm feeling for a hole in my head and there's no hole in my head. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I go and I answer the door. And there's this guy standing at the door and his name's Glenn. And this Glenn guy had been trying to help me get sober for well over 18 years. Now he's standing at my door. 15, 20 miles out of town in the country, he's standing at my door. So I'm like, what's up, Glenn? And he's like, I don't know what's up. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, all I know is about a half an hour ago, it's like an angel tapped me on my shoulder and told me I need to come find you.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, it's weird. He was like, I was driving. I was on my way over to do a deal on a motorhome. And he goes, I had this overwhelming feeling that I need to come find you. And he listened to that feeling. And he came out to my house. And he's standing at my door. And he just looks at me and goes, Mark, you look like hell. And I was like, yeah. He goes, can I just ask you 3 questions? Would you answer 3 questions for me, Mark? And I'm like, yeah, Glenn. And he says, all right, question number 1. He goes, is your life unmanageable right now? I'm like, F yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty unmanageable. He has no clue what happened. He has no idea about any of this. Nobody does. And he goes, all right, question 2. Tell me about God. And I'm like, oh, F that. Don't you even talk to me about that. And, I'm all kinds of F-bombs. I'm F-bomb guy, And he looks at me and he smiles. He's got this big old smile. And he goes, you're mad at God. He goes, that means you believe in God because you can't be mad at something you don't believe in. And literally, like the very first time I felt like in my life, I was like, holy crap, I believe in God. I didn't even know that. But it hit me. So that's step 2. So question 3, he says, all right, Mark, since I haven't been able to help you and your mom and your girlfriends and your ex-wife and your kids and the jails and the police and the hospitals that you've been in, no one's been able to help you. He goes, how about you let God help you? The one that you're so effing pissed off at. And I was like bawling. And then I had these chills up and down my legs and arms, which I've never had before. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? I'm bawling, I got chills, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, yes, I will. And he's like, good. He goes, can I come in? He's still out on the front porch. And he comes in, and he's like, get on your knees, I'm going to pray with you. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, no, it's come to this, right? Now it's getting crazy, But I get on my knees.
Now it's getting crazy.
Now it's getting crazy.
The talking to the picture and the...
No, that was crazy.
I gotta ask you, so what happened with the gun? Was it just not loaded? Was it...
No, it was loaded. It just didn't go off. It put a divot in the bullet. It was a .22. It literally hit the bullet and didn't go off.
Wow.
I know. So what we call that is a spiritual experience.
You think?
Yes.
So you start praying. Do you go to AA then right after that?
So here's the deal. You know what kept me out of the rooms at AA? They'd said God. No kidding. Every time I was in there, because the courts made me go for years.
Yeah. So for years, they tried to make you. You didn't want to because of the God thing.
Absolutely.
Here's why that is. Because rules without relationship equals rebellion. So you got rules, but no relationship. So you're fighting against it.
That's exactly it.
But all of a sudden, this dude prays for you.
Yep.
And the presence of God kind of comes into your life. And now you've got relationship. And rules with relationship equals redemption, right? It
That was
starts
it.
to change.
I felt the change. I felt something happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I'm clueless. I'm embarrassed to let anybody even know what happened the half an hour before he got there, right? But I went to that dang AA meeting the next morning. And I remember sitting down in the chair and they started the meeting and they're like, anybody in their first 30 days of recovery want to introduce yourself so we can get to know you better? I'm like, and I'm in his steel chair and I'm looking down, I'm crying so much I can watch the tears hit the ground. I'm watching puddles. And I remember it went silent. And I'm like, I look up and I look around, it's like all these people are staring at me. And I looked up and I was like, my name's Mark. I'm an alcoholic and I need you guys' effing help. And they were like, and then they start clapping.
Oh, God.
I know. And I was bawling. And it just changed my life. This little old lady pops in right after I
That's
get
so beautiful, man.
Yes, it gets better. This little old lady sitting across from me, and she looks at me and she goes, Mark, she goes, here's the deal. You keep coming in here and you let us love you till you learn to love yourself. I was like, man, lady, you don't know me.
Yeah.
I'll never love me. I was wrong.
Yeah. I think there's so many people, they think everybody thinks God's mad at us.
Yeah.
When the truth is, he's mad about us. He loves us. And he was just waiting on enough of that little crack in your soul, right, that allowed him in. Because he doesn't force himself on us. But even in your anger, you're opening yourself up to him a little bit, and he just like poured it in. Yeah, you know what my favorite song is? Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Me.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. You could have written that. I could have written that.
Most people can write.
Yeah, God loves us as we are, not as we should be.
That's what people need to know. There is hope. You got to surrender to yourself and you will find hope. This is the reason why all of this turns into the reason why I end up doing what I end up doing in sobriety.
You help people recover?
That's
That's your full-time gig?
that's my full-time gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the last 16 years, how many people do you think you've helped
Ooh.
in the realm of recovery?
Huh. There's got to be thousands.
Yeah.
I have personally been involved with helping people off the road into rehabs and into doing that groundwork
Yeah.
more times than I can remember.
Yeah. It's like, you know what it is? It's like we fight God for what we don't really want instead of just surrendering to him and receive what we need.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
fight him for what we don't want instead of just surrender. But it was in that surrender that the hope showed up.
It really was.
Yeah. The love of God, it's something you don't achieve. The word is surrender.
Yeah.
You can't achieve it, but you can receive it.
Yep.
But you have to, we're all like this, right? And it was in that moment when you finally, even though you were angry, you opened up and out it,
Yeah.
down it came.
Yeah. Once I was done, and I was done with my life. I was done running my life. My pride and my ego had done run my ship into the freaking over the cliff, and God came in and rescued me.
Yeah.
He was stronger. When I was at the end of my rope, that's when his strength really showed up
Yeah.
to save a wretch like me.
Yeah.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. No matter where you've been, or what you've done, or what's been done to you, God loves you, and he has a purpose and plan for your life. I want to thank Mark for sharing his story of redemption. Join us next time as we talk about cigars, life, and what matters most on the Cigar Preacher.